So we are here at the Chega Museum, which means enough. It's a museum about the resistance against the Indonesian occupation and eventually independence of Timor-Leste. There is another museum, the Resistance Museum Archive. We're gonna check it out both, and then you can see which one you prefer. At least one of them should be one of your stops here in Dili if you want to understand a little bit more about the recent history of Timor. So essentially it talks about the political prisoners who were resisting the Indonesian occupation, and they were saying like Indonesia was charging them once they were arrested with a treason and subversion. They would go to terrible prisons and suffer humiliation, sometimes torture as well. So there was also internal conflict between different factions here in Timor. So both factions engaged in abuse and others, as here the Indonesian military as well. And there were also kind of Indonesian militias here as well. As I mentioned, violence and torture of political prisoners here. Reminds me of secret prisons in Cambodia that I've just been there, and I recorded some videos about it, about the Khmer Rouge led by Pol Pot and how many people they torture and killed. Like a quarter of the population, more than 2 million people, and I'm gonna have a video about that. I like this kind of museum when they have a timeline of events. This one had one back there in the other room. I didn't want to talk over there, but it was really interesting. And I knew already, but highlights here how the United States and Australia in 1975 supported Indonesian occupation of East Timor, and then eventually Australia pressure for the independence of Timor. There is also a change in heart, let's say. There is political pressure, like democratic pressure, the people saying like we shouldn't do that, we shouldn't support the dictatorship, occupation, we should support independence. And there were the Australians' interests in the gas fields that are in between Darwin, north of Australia, and south of East Timor, essentially about the demarcation of the Greater Sunrise gas field. It was settled in 2018, but it hasn't been explored yet because Timor wants to have most of the refining here inland and not offshore, because then you aggregate more value if you do it here and create jobs and everything, can tax more, so it would be better for the country, but they haven't done yet. International oil gas companies don't want to do the refinement here inside Timor, as far as I'm concerned, as what I read. The museum was built where it used to have a prison, political prison there. So you can see the cells, you can see a lot of the rests of the prison. Political prisons here. It's a little bit dark, sorry you can't see me, but you can hear me. But you can see the jail cells. It's a quite new museum, so the infrastructure, the whole presentation is really beautiful. It's really well done and definitely worth a visit. It talks here a little bit about the Timor Gap Treaty that was signed between Indonesia and Australia. The treaty essentially divided the natural resources of East Timor between Australia and Indonesia, which obviously it's not cool. And then Australia was sued by Portugal in the International Criminal Court because of this treaty. Anyhow, a lot of the countries, they were not in favor of Timorese independence and kind of supported Indonesian occupation, and then eventually they started supporting Timor-Leste independence. Very interesting how one thing leads to another one. There was the Asian financial crisis in 1997. That crisis really weakened all the governments here, including the dictatorship of Suharto here in Indonesia. There was a lot of protests, people were dissatisfied because the economy was in shambles. The government fell, the dictatorship ended, which made the government more democratic, also weaker because it was a new democracy. It was enough for Indonesia to release their dominance over Timor-Leste. They accepted the end of occupation and the potential independence. So interesting how the more indirectly, but almost directly, 1997 Asian financial crisis led to the independence of East Timor. Interesting as well how the end of dictatorship in Portugal in 1974 eventually led to decolonization of the Portuguese colonies. Angola, Mozambique, East Timor. Unfortunately for East Timor, they got independent for a very short time and then occupied by Indonesia. But history is just like a sequence of causal relations. that keeps going on and on and on. Australian troops, parts of the Interfet. I love the military Interfet here in East Timor in 1999. That was a pretty good museum. Really enjoyed it. A lot of history. I love history when they actually put a sequence of events. You learn a lot. Definitely recommend. Let's take a look at the archives. How is that? So you arrive here at the Resistance Timorense Archive and Museum. So it's very interesting. I'm getting in. Right outside already, the walls here, they have a lot of information. If you don't have much time or lazy, I don't know, you can read about Timor-Leste struggle independence here. And a little bit extra history, especially related to Brazil for those who don't know. This is Sérgio Vieira de Mello. He was an Brazilian, let's say, diplomat working at the United Nations. He led the United Nations mission here in Timor-Leste. And he was become very famous because it was a successful mission. He even met his girlfriend from Argentina running here. They were running, jogging, and then he met her. She was working, I don't remember if it was for the United Nations or somewhere else. And then they stayed together. And he died in Iraq, in a terrorist attack in Iraq, an explosion after the invasion by the Americans. The United Nations set up an office there, and the office was bombed. And then he got stuck in the ruins of the explosion. And there's a very good documentary about him. There were actually the soldiers, the American soldiers, trying to rescue him from the destroyed building, and how he was communicating with the American soldiers, and he passed away eventually. Sadly. Almost there. I was interviewed by the girls over there, pretty cool, asking me how I was here in Timor-Leste, what I'm doing here, if I'm a tourist, what do I know about Timor-Leste, why I wanted to be here. It was pretty cool. Sorry. Can I record as well a little bit? Oh, sorry. Because they were interviewing me, so I can interview them as well. So you're all English students? Yes.
University Dili.
University Dili.
University Dili is the name of the city in Timor-Leste.
And which year are you in the university?
In 2025.
You started 2000, so you're first year?
Yes, the first year.
First year. And you already speak such a good English.
Thank you. But now we are still learning.
But it's very good. I like your interview. Her interview was really good.
But I want to know that where are you from?
Brazil.
Yes, in Brazil, people always talk about use language Portuguese, not English.
Yes, we speak Portuguese in Brazil. Yeah.
Brazil.
The vast majority of people in Brazil don't speak that much English, unfortunately. But Portuguese is like everyone speaks Portuguese 100%. And I was, to be honest, a little bit sad that I didn't find many people here speaking Portuguese.
In Timor-Leste people also, some use Portuguese to speak, and some study about English. But like some of my friends speak Portuguese. Some speak English. Because
Você fala um pouquinho?
sim.
Ah, olha lá, ela fala português. Ah, tava escondendo. Você aprendeu na escola?
Sim, escola secundária.
Quantos anos você estudou?
3 anos.
3 anos. Porque vocês falam tetum, né?
Sim, Timor-Leste, tem pessoa que fala língua Timor-Leste é tetum, mas precisa estudar língua português também, língua inglesa, porque português e língua inglesa isso é muito importante.
Muito importante.
No mundo para viajar e trabalho.
Sim.
Mas minha língua é um pouco, mas não é muito bem.
Mas eu entendo 100% e você me entende tudo, né? Tem algumas palavras portuguesas usadas no tetum? Tem muita palavra?
Sim, tem muitas. Também língua Indonesia.
Então uma mistura.
Timor-Leste usa língua
inglesa. Tudo uma mistura mais ou menos.
Mistura, sim.
Let's explore the museum now. There are some parts of the museum where you can take pictures or film, but The museum is really good. It has a lot of pictures, a lot of infographics, has that timeline about the history of Timor-Leste, how it started, colonization, independence, the United Nations intervention. And it's interesting that they talk a lot about Sérgio Vieira de Mello, the Brazilian guy I just mentioned, how he was responsible for implementing and developing the institutions necessary to form a new nation, the new country of Timor-Leste, East Timor. Australian soldiers literally defending King Xanana Guzmão, the president. So you guys know I'm from Brazil, and this photographer here, Roseli Forganes, this is her exposition. So those are her pictures. It's very interesting because of the Interfet, international mission here to pacify East Timor. So there's a lot of pictures of Australian troops, but as a good Brazilian, there were Brazilian troops here as well. They speak Portuguese, right? Brazil is part of the same Portuguese-speaking language community, so they helped here both to pacify East Timor as to give security as well training the soldiers and police here that was non-existent. And there were Gurkhas here as well, you know, the Nepalese soldiers that serve in the British military were here as well. The Australian soldiers with their APCs, armored personnel carriers. So that's it. Great museum, definitely recommend. If you're visiting Timor, I know maybe you're just for the beaches or for diving and everything, but it's important to know the history of the country you're visiting, especially Timor that has a very recent, strong history. It got independent not such a long time ago. There was parts of the museum that I couldn't record, couldn't film or taking pictures, but definitely recommend a good museum, $5. The other one I think was free. I don't know. Well, at least there was no one to charge anything there. And you learn a lot. There's some special people here. Those cars are pretty fancy. Going now for our next stop, which I still don't know which is gonna be. Qual é o seu nome?
Eu chamo-me Ana Senhorinha.
Ana Senhoria.
Sim.
Ela trabalha aqui no kebab.
Benfica.
Em Benfica.
Sim.
Clube Benfica é o nome.
Sim.
Então é do lado do Museu da Resistência ali. Muito prazer.
Obrigada.
Muito obrigado.
Muito obrigada, senhor.
Agora eu vou esperar, porque eu já pedi um pra mim também aqui, pra almoçar. Comendo tipo um kebab de frango, um hambúrguer de frango, mas meio estilo kebab. E tomando um maravilhoso café gelado com leite. Sanduíche de frango bem apimentado pro meu gosto, não sou muito de comer pimenta, mas tá show aqui. Na verdade, isso aqui tem leite condensado. Não era o que eu queria, mas é bom pra porra. So I know some of you think it's kind of stupid to work out while you're traveling. You're traveling, you have to explore and everything. You're East Timor. How few people in the world have the privilege to go to East Timor. But for me, it's important. For physically, important for my mind. Especially I've been traveling for a while, you don't eat well, a lot of time you don't eat at all, because if you're in a bus like for 10 hours, then you have always to be searching for a gym while you're traveling. A lot of times I use parks, kids playgrounds, but I got this one here in Dili, in Timor-Leste. It's kind of fun. It's from a school that belongs here. I think it's from the staff of the school. And then I chat with them, I'm from Brazil, blah, blah, blah. Can you please help me and everything I can pay? Check one yesterday was $15 for one day. And no way I'm paying $15. And they got me to use this one here today. I'm happy, feeling better. And then I can go and explore Timor. Then obviously, when you travel as well, it's easy. It's hard to eat properly, to get enough protein. There's a lot of carbs, depends where you go. Then I just buy like a liter of milk and I keep chugging the milk to get some protein there, fat-free. That's how I travel better this way. So, I'm a little bit lost here, getting to the waterfall, and people, they are helping me here. Very friendly, very nice. I'm still lost. I don't know if the scooter, if I can manage to get to the waterfall. I'm gonna try another way. I found a better way to go to the waterfall. I hope it stays like that, paved. Because the other way that I was asking for the guys there was hard. It was like mud and everything, all messed up. And here you have like a very nice view of the Dili Bay. Kind of not exactly a bay, but Dili coast. Sorry, I'm officially giving up. I'm being a little bit conservative here. It rained today, so things are slippery. I thought it would be paved, but it's all the way like that. There's no paved passing down there. And I've been like going through the mud and everything, the rocks, and it starts to get sketchy. This is a rental, and I'm flying out tomorrow, so I don't want to mess up. That's it, I'm sorry guys. I'm sure it's a nice waterfall, but I'm sure it's not gonna be life-changing, so that's it for me. And as they say, going up is the easiest part. Going down is gonna be sketchy. So at least I got this Dili view here from above. On the way here, Google Maps was sending me to a road that way, which essentially doesn't exist. And then I got so confused. So, trying to get the waterfall, I found this open market. Very, very, very local. There are no tourists here at all. So it's cool. At least I found something. Mercado Taibese. Welcome to Taibese Market. Bom dia, boa tarde.
Boa tarde, boa tarde.
Looking for some t-shirts. I think I saw them. Since it's not a very touristic place, there are no t-shirts about Timor-Leste. Hello, hello. Not too much of Timor-Leste stuff. Maybe I can find something, I don't know. Let's see. Huh. Maybe this one? Football team, I guess, but there are 3 numbers on t-shirts with the Timorese flag. Not too keen to buy these ones. Microlet. So for those who didn't know, and I didn't know, May 5th is the day to commemorate the Portuguese language. And there are quite a few countries that speak Portuguese. We are here right now in East Timor, one of the second youngest country in the world, got independent in 2002. It's in the south of Southeast Asia, almost border of Oceania. Timor-Leste, this is São Tomé e Príncipe. I have a video about my visit on São Tomé e Príncipe on my channel. Portugal, Mozambique, I've never been, I would love to go. I'm not 100% sure of the 2 flags. I know one is Guinea Equatorial, the other one I think is Guinea Bissau. I know it's Guinea Equatorial, Bissau, I don't know which one is which flag. Cape Verde, the islands on the coast of Africa, Brazil, and Angola. I also been to Angola. Very nice video on my channel. So not bad, right? 9 countries that have Portuguese as their official language. Here they have Portuguese as their official language. I tried to speak a little bit with some people. Some people spoke okay, but a lot of people or speak English, but they have speak Tetum, which is their national language here. This is the coat of arms of East Timor. Unity, action, progress. And then you have the book and you have the weapons. So yeah, you have to learn, you have to educate yourself, but also you have to fight for your freedom because nobody's gonna give you for free. Speaking of freedom, this is the government's palace. Also the Independence Proclamation Square, right in front of the coast here. The main coastal walk in Dili. Now I had a zoom of my face. That island right in front here is Atauro, the famous amazing diving spot. The ferry that departs to Atauro and also to other islands in Indonesia. They departed from right over there. That's the port here. It's a beautiful area. You see a lot of people jogging and everything. It's cool here. A lot of embassies as well. Beautiful houses. And the American embassy, huge, huge. Look like a compound, like a fortress.
Onde?
Eu sou do Brasil.
Ah, aqui está aqui.
Ah, não, sou turista.
Ah, turista.
Turista, visitando.
É turista quantos meses aqui?
Ah, não. Uma semana total.
Uma semana.
Sim.
Uma semana eu vou para o Brasil.
Na verdade, eu moro nos Estados Unidos. Mas eu nasci e cresci no Brasil.
Quando que volta?
Volto amanhã. Mas visitei bastante.
Tem nome de channel?
Sim, procura Rodrigo, que é meu nome.
Rodrigo.
Out of your comfort zone. Ou procura Rodrigo, fora da zona de conforto. E qual que é o seu nome?
Samuel Durito.
Durito.
Ah.
Prazer, Rodrigo. Encontrei o Durito aqui, a gente tá fazendo exercício aqui, tá fazendo barra.
Então logo volta para Portugal. Hoje vem com quem?
Eu vim com uma scooter, com uma moto,
sim.
uma lambreta.
Meus colegas estão aqui, from the Brasil, ele ensina aqui, ensina no QC.
Ah, o que ele ensina?
Ele ensina português.
Ensina português?
Português do Brasil.
Ah, legal.
Ensina o QC.
O QC?
O QC.
O QC, da outra cidade.
Ele é do QC.
Ah, beleza, legal.
Atauro e o QC. Ele ensina.
E o QC, da ilha de Ocusse. Bacana. Boa! Speaking here with Gito, we were working out together here. He speaks very good Portuguese, so it was fun to talk to him. And you see a lot of people working out and running around here with this beautiful sunset. And there was some people doing training, I think boxing over there. And Gito, he's strong. Beautiful lighthouse here with the sunset behind. Okay, So that was East Timor for you. I hope you enjoyed. Again, there were a few things I would like to have done that I couldn't do this time. I didn't have the chance. One definitely is to go to Ataroa Island to dive, but I got this kind of eye infection or cornea inflammation or something back in Laos, and took with me all the way to Thailand, and they told me I shouldn't dive or anything just in case for a few more days, a few more weeks. And Jekyll Island, which is all the end to the east over there, beautiful as well, nice amazing beach. Those are other things you can do here. There's still quite a few things to do. I'm going to show you some pictures right now, and maybe some pictures of the airport if I remember tomorrow, because I'm flying out tomorrow. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed Timor-Leste, East Timor. Definitely worth a visit. The second newest country in the world. I hope everything I said was correct, but if I said anything wrong, please leave the comments in the comments area correcting me. That I will always try to answer every single comment. Or if you have any question about traveling to East Timor, remember, I also have the video about how to cross from Kupang in West Timor, Indonesia, by land, by bus to East Timor. So you can also ask me questions about that or watch the video. Right behind me, and I can't film, is the American Embassy. It's a huge embassy, and they asked me not to film the embassy because it looked like a fortress full of cameras. So we're gonna leave it at that. I don't want to have any trouble. That's it. Safe travels, all the best, until the next time. Also coming from the future back to the past, I'm gonna show a little bit of the airport of Dili. Let's see if I have a chance. So here, this is Dili airport. Pretty small, but they have SIM cards here already in the arrival. For departures, you already go through security over there. And they don't have Wi-Fi here, which is a problem. Okay, so that's a first for me. You do the check-in here, you leave your bags here, but then you take a van and you go to a new terminal. So interesting. I think they're still transitioning to a new terminal. Restaurant here, the old terminal. Café Timorense. So this is the new terminal. It has air conditioning, immigration is just there. There are two people there to do immigration. And they have Wi-Fi here, which is great. People didn't know they had Wi-Fi here. But I couldn't find water, like free water, and I don't feel like paying for water. So I'm arriving here at the Dili airport. Maybe someone from the Timorese government is gonna watch this video. Your country is amazing, it's gorgeous. People are super friendly. You deserve more tourists, definitely deserve more tourists. So I'm gonna give you a couple of tips on things you can do to increase the number of tourists here. First, the major one, implement visa-free. Visa-free for 98% of the passports of the citizens of the world to Timor-Leste. Why? Because once you implement visa-free, a lot of travel-related websites, travel bloggers and everything, they're gonna talk about it. They're gonna talk about it. Hey, there's another Southeast Asian country that's now visa-free. And this is gonna be free promotion. It's gonna be organically. You're not gonna pay anything for that. The money you're gonna lose for the application fee for the visa, you're gonna win. Just implement a tourist tax, $15 at the entrance for everyone, including Portuguese citizens. Like I have a Portuguese passport, like me, because if I can get to Timor-Leste, I can pay $15. But visa free for everyone, so more people are gonna hear about Timor-Leste. Actually, I was backpacking around Southeast Asia, you know, the classics: Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand. 90% of people I told that I was coming here to Timor-Leste, they never heard of Timor-Leste, ever. People need to know first about Timor-Leste, then they're gonna research, and then they're gonna see it's a beautiful, amazing country. Bem-vindo a Timor-Leste. So first, that. Visa for digital nomads, unfortunately, it's not gonna work because your internet, between us here and everyone else, it's pretty bad. It doesn't work. Your internet's really bad. Digital nomads need a very good internet, so not a good idea. Finally, cheaper flights. Absolutely need cheaper flights. Way too expensive to fly to Dili. In and out of Dili, I flew to Kupang in West Timor, Indonesia, and took the bus. Talked with the main low-cost airlines, AirAsia, Vietjet, and Scoop, all the ones. I don't remember if Tiger Airways still exists. All the low-cost airlines that serve Southeast Asia, invite them here, give subsidies, or at least don't charge any taxes for, I don't know, 10 years, and you're gonna feel they call the Ryanair effect. Ryanair effect is when Ryanair, a famous low-cost carrier in Europe, they go to a place, they start flying to a specific city in Europe, the tourism in that city explodes because they're bringing a lot of new people that wouldn't fly there otherwise, but because it's so cheap, they fly there. All the other business, you know, accommodation, restaurants, food, tours, everything flourish, so creates a lot of jobs. And then they're gonna do free marketing for you because they're gonna put in their magazines and their websites, we have a new destination. Timor-Leste, East Timor, fly to East Timor. Look at these beautiful beaches, look at this amazing diving, look at all of those things. So that's gonna be free promotion for you. These are free and low cost carriers. Those are the two main ones. And the rest, once you bring people here, more hostels, more hotels, more restaurants, more everything is gonna pop up, it's gonna flourish. Please, Timor-Leste, you deserve more tourists.